Hi friends, I'm Carol Keller, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois in the United States, and today I'm using the Cheers and Sips bundle to make a card. If you are not aware, Cheers and Sips is part of a suite, and so it is part of our sweet sale that is going on until the end of June. So what that means is for any item you buy, either a whole suite or any item in the suite that you buy, you will get a second one for 50% off. So plan accordingly when you are planning your shopping list. So if you buy one bundle and then you buy a second one, that one will be 50% off in the same, as long as they're part of suites. In the same way, if you buy a bundle that's part of a suite and an embellishment that's part of a suite, you're going to get 50% off the embellishment. So depending on how long your list is, you may want to split your order into two to take the most advantage of the sale. All right, let's get started with the card. Here we go. Here is the card. Like I said, it uses the Cheers and Sips bundle and the Celebratory Sips DSP. And I'm going to put it right aside so we can get started right away. I am starting with a basic white card base. And I've already cut my DSP for the base of the card. This is 1/2 inch by 5.5 inches, and this is 1.25 inches by 5.5 inches. They come again from that Celebratory Sips DSP pack. And we're gonna put that on right away. I'm gonna grab my Stampin' Seal. I'm going to put this one close to the edge, but leaving a little bit of a border. I don't know that there's necessarily a right way or a right side up with the DSP. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And I will show you this great DSP at the end, what I have left of it. I'm going to already need to order some more, because I've cut up so much of it, but I love it. All right, so there's the base for our card. I've also cut out from the DSP the umbrella. There's an umbrella die and 3 of the cups or glasses, I guess, from the DSP. And I'm going to bring out that one sheet to show you what I did and what gave me the idea. If you can see, this actually came from here. And so I cut out the glass and I wanted to recreate the orange. So that's what I did here. I used this one for that card. And this was cut out from this side. These 3 were cut out from this side. And then these 3, which are very similar, were cut out from the other side. So this one very much looks like that. Let's see, we'll put it over here for now. This one is reminiscent of this, except that the mint was on the other side. It was just like this. And I cut it out from up here, which was nice because the mint wasn't completely in the paper or on the paper, and it didn't matter because all I wanted was the glass. And we're going to recreate the mint. And then instead of this one, I cut out this one just because it was on this side of the DSP. I suppose I actually could have cut this one out, but that's all right. It'll just give it a slightly different look, and I kind of wanted that just so you could see the variation. I almost fussy cut this one instead, but I wanted to show you how I recreated the other ones, because if you wanted these to be in there, you'd have to fussy cut the whole thing, which is not that big a deal. Same thing with the larger glass, or if you wanted to fussy cut the mint, you could do that too. The reason that I didn't is that I was going for a little bit more depth and texture on the card, and that's why I decided to do the embellishments with the dies. All right, so we're going to put these aside for now. And we're going to do some stamping first. And actually before that, we're going to punch. So I've got a scrap of Pretty in Pink, and I've got the Labels with Love punch. And we're going to give it a punch. You can punch first and then stamp. You can stamp first and then punch. It doesn't really matter. I usually stamp first and then punch, but I figured this would be pretty safe. Actually, I think this is the way I did it the first time too. So I have 2 of the stamps from the set. One says cheers, one says it's your day. And I stamped them, I inked them and stamped them on a scrap until I knew that they were straight, and I was pretty happy with the results, so we're gonna go with that. Grabbing my Strawberry Slush ink, and we'll ink that up. And while we have the ink out, I'm also going to do the sentiment on the inside, and it says, "Let's celebrate." So ink that up. And I debated doing something on the inside. I think I'm going to. I was not going to, but I feel like it needs something more. But we are done with that ink pad, so I'm going to put that away for now. I think for the inside, maybe I will fussy cut one of those glasses. So maybe we'll do this one because it just needs a little more. So I think we'll do this. And cut around so that you can save the rest for the other glasses if you want them. And we'll fussy cut. And I'm going to go right around where the gray is. As close to it as I can get. And then we're going to cut around the little, I want to say branches, but I guess that's that makes it seem like it's a whole tree in there, which it's not. I guess it's more the herbs, right? Whatever you might want to call them. So, and I'm getting close, but I'm not going in and out too much. I don't want to take a lot of time, not just because of the video, but because we want to make our cards quick and easy. So there we have it. As on this one, I haven't stamped the inside. That's why I'm kind of going with the flow right now. I do think, though, I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to put it on right now because we're going to add some dimension to the front, and I don't want it to interfere with that. It's less of an issue when you are adhering something versus when you're stamping something, because I debated actually using the stamps to stamp on the inside, and the reason that I didn't was that I would have to color it in, and I wanted something that was quicker. So we're going to do this on the left, and our inside now is done. So we've got a little more stamping with the outside, and for that I have a scrap of basic white. I guess we'll do it this way. I've got the orange and my Timid Tiger ink pad. This is one of our new in colors, as is the Strawberry Slush that we used to stamp on the first, or the sentiments. So we could leave it like this, but I decided I wanted to color it in, and I'll show you how I did that in a minute. That's all we need for the Timid Tiger. Next, I'm bringing in Garden Green, and I will say this is not even actually one of the colors that's listed on the back of the DSP pack. It says Old Olive, which is probably what this is, and it says Lemon Lime Twist, which is lighter. It doesn't really say the darker one, but to me, the Garden Green was closest to that. So I'm going to also stamp that then in Garden Green and leave at least a little bit of a space. I probably should have left a little larger one, because then you can put all the dies down together at once and run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine just once. And that's it for Garden Green. Last but not least, I'm bringing in Tuxedo Memento Black. And we've got a little stamp here that I'm going to use. You can use it as a little stick for your fruit, but for me, I'm using it as the bottom to the umbrella. We'll stamp that, and that is the last of our stamping. So I'm going to cut these. Oh no, I'm going to color them first, then cut them out, just so I can show you what I did. So I first started actually with the Garden Green leaves to color them in. And I quickly realized that we don't have Garden Green blends, which is what I would have used. So instead I just grabbed my garden green Stampin' Right marker and I colored it in. Wasn't sure how it was going to be, but when I did it, I realized that the detail was still showing. I was very happy about that. The veins in the leaves were still showing. So that was a nice little bonus. I was thinking that it was just going to be coloring over those and making them disappear, but it didn't. So that was a nice little bonus, like I said. So, and you can use the fine point to get in here if you need to, but I felt like it was okay doing it this way. And I'd say that's pretty good. And we do have a Timid Tiger blend, I believe, but I don't have it, so I used my Timid Tiger Stampin' Right marker, and I just basically colored in the triangles. Same thing with the brush end. And this one, the detail does get more lost, but I wasn't that unhappy with it. It would have been nice to have it, but I felt like instead of leaving it plain, I felt like it was important to color it in because that's what a real orange looks like. But if you want, you could leave it uncolored. That would certainly work too. I think if you look really closely, you can see a little bit of the detail, but it's much harder to see than it is with the garden green for whatever reason. It must be just closer to the ink color from the ink pad than the garden green is. And that's about it. So now I'm going to cut these out and then be right back. All right, now that I've got everything cut out, we just need to do some assembly. And I did kind of fit things underneath and over things. Typically, when I have a sentiment that has a ribbon, I bump it up with dimensionals. And you can see one side was kind of popping up a little. I may have to add a little bit of glue. The reason I didn't do that is I wanted to give the glasses more prominence, especially this one. So I decided not to do that. So we'll grab the Strawberry Slush Faux Linen Ribbon. That's what I used. Just gonna cut off a section. And I want it a little bit smaller because I don't want it to take up too much room on the card, because the glasses do take up room. But I really wanted to use 3. Just mark where that is, because odd numbers are more pleasing to the eye. And I'm going to take my glue dot, put it in the middle to hold those 2 sections together, to hold them down. Try it this way. There we go. And I'm going to put a couple on the front to hold them to the tag, to hold the ribbon to the tag. And I am going to turn it on a slant a little bit. And yeah, I think this is going to work better because it's shorter, so that it won't interfere with kind of the rest of the production we've got going on here. So before I put these on, I did sort of assemble, not so much for the umbrella, but for the other pieces. See, this fits like right over there. And I put a glue dot right here to hold this piece to my little glass, my drink, so that it helps with placement. And we're going to do the same thing here. Put it over here. And I like the contrast with colors a little better too than I did with just using the cutout. Again, personal preference. So I know my cheers is going to go in about the middle here, and I may move it over like I ended up doing. I moved it over a little bit, but we'll start with it here. And I think now the umbrella I can place on either side of the glass. I did some moving around because of that with this one, because I had it over on this side first and I felt like the umbrella got lost a little bit. So I think it does do better here or there. So let's see, let's see if we do this and we do this, maybe this. Oh yeah, that's right, I did it this way so that it didn't interfere. And that would mean we still would have to put the umbrella on this side. So again, I'm just playing around because I want it this way. Yeah, it's really hard for it to fit in there and still see the sentiment. So that's probably why I moved it. So if we do this instead, and again, I would probably tuck it under just like that, just like I did here. I sort of fit them inside of each other a little bit. And then we can move the umbrella or this glass down and then have room for the umbrella up here. And then our little holder for the umbrella is going to go just above where the liquid starts, where the drink starts, where the wine starts. And so then this is going to go like this. We're going to cut it down short so that doesn't show. And let me see if I'm happy with that. Because I do think it's important for this embellishment on the bottom to be on the right side of the tag. And again, that's why, I could move it up a little bit. There's still a little bit of give and a little bit of play. This one is going to be bumped up, and I think I do like that one there. So I think we're going to start assembly. I'm going to put this on the bottom with my seal. And what I ended up doing, just to make sure that it was strong enough to hold, is I put a glue dot on the orange so that it gets held into place too, because right now there's give and I don't want there to be give when it's on the card. So it's going to go like this. And like I said, I'm going to tuck that, move it up just a pinch. I'm going to tuck, move it over a little bit. Hang on, because I want them tilted. Now I'm going to tuck this underneath. So again, I'm just using my seal and I'm going to put it right over that ribbon. And that will help it to hold down. I got a little bit of glue here, it looks like. A little bit of something. And I still want it in about the middle, and I do want some overlap. About like that. It's a little bit lower than the middle, but that's okay, because like I said, and we'll overlap it with the orange even a little bit. I think it's crooked. Let's see. Tilt it just a little bit. I think that's better. And then this one is going to go here, but I want to make sure that the umbrella is going to fit. So I want it sort of right here. Oh yeah, that's going to work. Up just a little bit from that. So I'm going to cut this and make it shorter. If I need to snip more off, I will, and I probably will, but I don't want to make it too short quite yet. Oh yeah, I'm going to need to snip more of that. And if it is too short, I can always end up stamping another one, but I don't think I'll have to. So I'm going to put this on the glass because I did find that when I just adhered it to the umbrella and then laid it over, this part was sticking up. And so you need just a little bit of glue on the back. And this is being very runny, so I'm not going to put it right on the piece here. I'm going to put it on my finger and just get a little bit. So I don't want it making a big mess. If you know me, I do not like glue mess. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, and then, like I said, it's gonna go here. We're gonna put the umbrella. Oh yeah, that's gonna work nicely. That's gonna work nicely. So again, I did not bump it up with dimensionals, the cup, the glass, but there's some pretty good dimension with the addition of the umbrella. So we're gonna move it now this way. Going at the opposite angle from the one on the bottom. And I think this, it looks like a dimensional, but it's not. I think because it's laying over this, I just used my seal. Or, you know what? I think I used a glue dot or a couple of glue dots. And I'm gonna do that just because, again, I wanted it. That's why I did it, was to hold down this little piece up at the top, because that was before I put the glue on. That was sort of an afterthought. We'll do this. And so that's what gave it the dimension. So I lost a little dimension using the seal. So keep that in mind. If you want it to look a little more 3D, just use the glue dots here and skip the glue or seal. And then we're gonna use dimensionals on the back of this one. So again, now I'm gonna put one here so that it overlaps both of those pieces. It helps to hold them together. And then I put 3 down the center. And we'll take the paper off. And then this one we'll put straight on over here. I had it farther over, but I think the tag was moved farther over too. I like that. And so then that gives it some dimension. And all we need now is some bling. Cannot have a card without bling. So for this card, I'm using the Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink gems. I'm gonna grab my Take Your Pick tool. And I was gonna use 3 like I normally do, but I really wanted to, oops, we got a little bit of glue, hang on. Not sure where that even came from, but I'm gonna get my glue eraser and get rid of that. So I do not want that on there. Oh yeah, much better. So I won't be able to do it afterwards once I put the gems on. One little bit here. Yeah. So I've got, usually I use 3 like I said, but this time I felt like it needed more. So I'm using 5 and I'm just kind of alternating. I have a large and a small in both colors, the Strawberry Slush and then the Pretty in Pink. I put a darker Strawberry Slush one on the tag so that it would show more. And then 2 small ones, one of each color up at the top, like that, so that your eye is drawn around the card. And there it is. There is the card. I hope you like it. Let me show you what else I used. Here is the Cheers and Sips stamp set. So lots of embellishments, ice cubes for the drink, just like similar to what you see here. A strawberry, an orange, or a lemon. Looks like a little blackberry or raspberry and olive. And so you can add like celery top, all sorts of things that you can use to embellish the drinks. Different size glasses, and then sentiments. And then the dies are right here. And you can cut out all of these, everything you see here with the dies. And you have texture if you want to add it to the taller glass, which I think will be fun to play with. I've seen some cute things done with that already. So those are the dies. And then let me show you what I have left of the DSP. I'm going to bring in the sheet that I showed you before that has all the drinks on it and just show you what's on the other side. But I love this. Definitely I think it's worth fussy cutting even some of the drinks. If I did it though, I think I would fussy cut all 3. But, again, and play with some of the larger glasses. Those are fun too, especially that one with the umbrella. And this is what gave me the idea to use the DSP, because this looks like DSP also. Let me show you the other papers that come in the paper pack. I like this too, and we use the other side. That's why it's not a full sheet, which was the polka dots. But again, all smaller versions of some of those drinks that we saw in the paper that I just showed you. And then also some bottles, and I like this too. Oh, that looks actually delicious. And the flower paper, again, I've used it. And this is the other side. This is very pretty. I thought about using this, but it didn't have enough of the colors in it. And then the other side, I almost used that. This one, very, very bold, but I think I would use maybe a little snippet, maybe just cut even like this so there was white in between or something. And then this one, and then some veggies and fruits, or I guess, yeah, veggies. This is a carrot curl? That's what I saw first, but yep. And then some Secrecy on the back with a print. Beautiful papers. And then of course you saw the embellishments, the ribbon, and the bling. So that is it. That is today's card. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you watching every week. Please leave me some love in the comments. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel, click on the bell, and you'll be notified when I post new videos, which I do every week. I try to. And remember again that this bundle and the paper are all part of a suite, which means they are on sale this month. Just remember that it pays to buy something of equal value, either a whole suite and another whole suite, a bundle and another bundle, DSP pack and another DSP pack, an embellishment and another embellishment. You know, and you have to kind of do them separately because you're going to get your discount on the lowest priced item. So if you buy a suite and then you buy an embellishment, you're only going to get half off the embellishment, even if you buy another suite along with it. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. Some of us have split our orders into two so that we could take advantage and get two different things. So just like I said, keep that in mind. And if you need help placing an order, reach out and I will help you with that. Take a look around my channel if you haven't done so already. I have lots of other cards, scrapbook pages, home decor items, tips and techniques, beginner videos, a lot there that I hope you'll find useful. Leave me some love in the comments if you do watch the other videos, and I will see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Happy stamping.